our next topic, which is what did we learn? What have we learned from the portal window? It's officially closing tonight, but there's this 48-hour moratorium that if paperwork gets in today, if you make someone aware that you want to get into the portal by the end of the day today, they are obligated to hold you true to that within the next 48 hours. So we're not completely out of the window in terms of transfer portal entries, but we kind of are in terms of the additions, what's coming in. We feel like we got a strong hold on it. What did we learn from this initial portal window, boys? Because I got several points here.
Just Georgia specifically?
Just Georgia specifically. What did you learn about Georgia this year with their actions in the portal?
I think you quickly learned the two spots that they felt like they needed to add some players to. I mean, it was only two positions. It was wide receiver and it was running back, and they got some. I mean, it was big time players too. It wasn't like players that was like, okay, maybe this is going to happen in a year or two. Like, these are guys that was like, London Humphreys was one of the top 15 players in the transfer portal. Trevor Etienne was one of the top two backs in the transfer portal. Like, these are dudes that was like, we need them now. We need some big hitters, and they went out and got some big hitters.
It didn't necessarily teach me anything. It kind of just cemented what's always been said, is that Kirby and the Georgia staff will use the portal not to just make a position or fill a position roster, but to supplement where it's needed. Like, you had talented players on both running back and wide receiver, but there was also kind of holes, hey, maybe we need to go out and add a few more guys there. But the fact that they went out and did this just cements what Kirby says is, we don't want to build a roster with the portal, but we want to supplement it in certain areas.
I think in one area it's pretty clear that they're building their roster via the portal because of some of the things that have happened, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second. You noted on something. They didn't really take a bunch of stabs on defensive players, right? Xavier McLeod, the only addition in this class via the transfer portal. They're going to take a visit from a defensive lineman who, physically slots into more of a jack role, more of a outside linebacker role at Georgia. The kid from Marshall, he's like 6'2", 260.
Yep.
That kid's not playing defensive end at Georgia. I'm here to tell you that right now. If he is, he's the baddest motherfucker walking this planet.
That was close.
Yeah, it was. I think I said Fugger. Absolute badass dude if he's going to try to come play Georgia at defensive end spot at 6'2", 260, especially with the transfer up in levels of competition. But they are very, very obviously banking on the portal in a couple of spots, or at least repairing some damages for some things that have happened in years past. Let's talk about the running back position. Okay, and if you're a Georgia fan listening tonight, which all 500 of you are, first of all, hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, and review. Second of all, I'm about to say some things that you already know that are not going to feel very good. Your running back recruitment as of late has been suspect at best. Okay, let's just talk about it. All right, the class of 2023 was really, really tough for you on the trail. Everyone knows the Justice Haynes story, right? You know you missed out on that one. But you were also kind of trying to get into the mix with Cedric Baxter, the kid that ended up going to Texas and is now starting for Texas and had a great year as a true freshman. You tried, didn't get very far with that one. The same thing could be said with Ruben Owens. I think you got very close at times with Ruben Owens, but didn't really get close. And that one's going to be, it seems like, very, very good. We already talked about Justice Haynes. You missed on Richard Young, too. Both of those players ended up going to Alabama. Now, Roger Robinson is going to, it looked like in the bowl game, going to turn into a very serviceable and maybe really, really good college back. All right, so I don't want to do that to him. But let's be honest. You took 5 stabs and landed on the 6th. All right, there was some Jeremiah Love in that mix as well. There was the kid from Alabama that ended up going to Auburn that you liked as well. So there were a bunch of options there, and I would say you kind of, boom. All right, we're going to take that guy, right? So let's go on to the 2022 class. Obviously, Branson Robinson was a big hit. He was the 138th player in the country. Boom, solid, nailed it, right? And then you take a 3-star addition in Andrew Paul. Great. Looks like it's going to be a high-end football projection. It sucked that he had a knee injury almost as soon as he got to campus. We'll see what happened. But Branson Robinson, bad luck there, right? Took a knee injury as well. So that was the highest-rated back that you've signed in 3 classes, by the way, because in 2021, you set it out. You set out the running back class entirely in 2021. And in 2020, you signed Kendall Milton and Dejon Edwards, both of whom are off of the roster now. So since 2020, all that is remaining on your roster is Roger Robinson and Andrew Paul, okay, and Branson Robinson. All right, so those 3 names, 2 of which you have knee injuries, that's bad luck. That's 100% bad luck. And then, of course, the recent addition in Roger Robinson. All right, but the 2023 misses were not great. They were not great. And I think you felt that not only this year during the season, but you felt that based off their actions this year in the portal, going and adding Trevor Etienne, because it was a must. It was absolutely a must, which takes us to our next conversation. So we see the portal activity at the running back position, and we know why. The running back spot's tough. I think I've told you guys that in my professional opinion, in my sourced opinion, the running back room is probably outpriced and irresponsibly priced more so than any other position now that NIL has come into play, because guess what? Agents or representatives are smart people too, and they know for a fact that if I'm a running back, I don't have the earning window that everybody else has. So I better be maximizing the earning window when I have an opportunity to do so. And now that window has opened up to your freshman year of college. So running backs are demanding a lot of money in the NIL, market. So it makes sense that maybe you aren't landing these high-end guys like you're supposed to. But the response to that is you're going to be having to search through these portals and hoping that you hit from now on. It feels like that. Unless something changes, which 2024's class, it seems like something did, right? Chauncey Bowens looks like he's going to be something. Nate Frazier looks like he's going to be something. Dwight Phillips looks like he's going to be something in that gadget back role. So there's some relief coming. But this, I need to go make something happen, it was felt in the running back room because of what has happened on the recruiting trail. Now, we talk about the running back room, and you don't look at Dale McGee with a cross eye because you know what he's done as a recruiter since 2016, 2017, when he took over the role as the running backs coach at the University of Georgia. You're not going to do that to him. He's got receipts. He's got bona fides. Y'all know he's really, really good at his job when he lands, right? When he lands and when he develops, y'all aren't worried about it. But the wide receiver development, the wide receiver recruitment, I'm here to tell you, like, I'm not throwing up alarms. I'm just telling you, going to having to take 3 wide receivers out of the portal makes sense when you look at it like this. Since 2021, these are the names that you have signed at the wide receiver position. We're taking out the 2024 class because those 2 individuals just now got onto campus. So I don't feel like writing their story yet. But the rest of these, I think we got pretty good, at least first chapters of what's going on. Some of this has come to a close. Since 2021, at the receiver position, you have signed 9 players. Those 9 players: A.D. Mitchell, Jackson Meeks, Denial Morissette, all off the roster. Dylan Bell, Cole Spear, C.J. Smith, off the roster. Tyler Williams, Anthony Evans, Zeed Haynes, off the roster. You've signed 9 wide receivers since 2021, the highest ranked prospect of all of those players. Do you know who it is?
Denial Morissette.
Denial Morissette. He was ranked 198th. You've signed 9 guys in 3 classes, 4 of which are still on your roster. The highest ranked out of all of them was 198. It ain't been great. It's not only been great from we haven't landed dudes to we haven't kept dudes around to we haven't developed the stabs that we took. That's what it looks like at the wide receiver position right now at Georgia. It's why you've seen Colby Young get added to this roster. It's why you've seen London Humphreys get added to this roster. It's why you saw the addition today of Michael Jackson III to your roster. Okay, this wide receiver recruitment, boys, to say it's been suspect is not even close. When you look at what they do at other positions, this is, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. It feels borderline unacceptable, the performances of the recruiting at the wide receiver positions compared to what they do at other spots.
I don't want to say there hasn't been any change, but I mean, I feel like Georgia fans have kind of had this feeling for the last 10 years. I mean, let's be honest. There hasn't been outside of, we always do it, George Pickens. I mean, that's been the guy. That's been really the only guy that you took from a recruiting class, developed him, got usage out of him when he was available, and then he went on to the NFL and did big things. And, that's kind of why I felt like when Nycar decommitted this last class, yeesh. I mean, that just feels like the punches keep rolling in a little bit. So it's great that you can go to the transfer portal, you can get guys, but at some point it feels like something needs to click, something has got to happen, because you're right, it doesn't make any sense that you can recruit and you can get guys at every other position except this one.
So I see the chat already doing the throwing the smoke at BMAC. I think the smoke immediately goes to Cortez Hankton.
Yeah.
Because they're like the 2021 class, the 2022 class, that's all on Hankton. Mm-hmm. That ain't on nobody but Hankton. And most of those misses, we don't know what Tyler Williams is going to become yet, right? We don't know. It looks like Anthony Evans might be something. They played him early like he's fixing to be something. What scares me about the Tyler Williams eval is They haven't tried. They haven't tried to get him on the field. They haven't tried to get him development. They haven't tried to do it, which tells me they're seeing what they see in practice, which is why we're not trying. But they did. They snuck Anthony Evans onto that field, and obviously Yazid Haynes going to Syracuse. So there are explanations for this. The primary explanation being Cortez Hankton, from my understanding, did the Matt Luke, thing where we're just going to take about 12 months off from doing this. We're not going to work very hard, and the results are there. The results are there because at Georgia, it's not like I've said this. This is one of my preeminent takes on this channel. At Georgia, your room is your room. What players show up in that room, what quality of talent is in that room, the type of development that goes on in that room, that's on you, buddy, at every spot. So you get the G on your chest and you get Kirby Smart, the closer. But that's about it, all right? The rest of the reign, the rest of the responsibilities, they're on you. How good your class looks and how good your room looks is directly dependent upon you.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So do you think that this is something that is fixable from the transfer portal, that you can go in and get better recruits because you can go out and say, hey, not even using the transfer portal, you can say, hey, look what we did with a Lab McConkey. Look what we did with a Dylan Bell. Look what we've used other guys and developed them. And now we've got these 5 receivers in the last 2 years that have come in, and we've turned them in possibly into high first, second round draft picks.
So when I hear 5-star wide receivers talk about development, it's great that you took Lab McConkey and you made him a 3rd round draft pick. That's awesome. But that don't do shit for Jeremiah Smith.
No.
That does nothing for him. That does nothing for Ryan Williams. That does nothing for Luther Burden. That didn't do anything for 5 stars. What 5 stars want to know is, can you get me in? Will you land me? Will I have 1,000 yards? Will I be a 1st round draft pick? Because that is what their track tells them that they're going to be. So what I would do, how I would do it, I don't think the route is take a bunch of transfer guys and hope someone booms and then use that as an example of, hey, we can do it. No, what I think needs to happen is I do think there needs to be once you find A1 in high school, once you find your version of what they thought Jalen Carter was coming out of high school, like they knew for a fact, if we keep Jalen Carter on the right side of things, this guy's going to be the best defensive tackle perhaps ever at this school. They knew it from the moment they saw him. The next time they run across a receiver like that, I would go outside of my means. I would break every rule to say, we're getting that guy. And then once he gets there, Kirby, it doesn't stop. Once he gets there, you gotta bend. You gotta bend the knee to some of these guys and show that you can not only be a 5-star that comes here and develops, but you can be a 5-star and walk on the field and be a guy the moment you get here. But it has to be that one. You have to make sure that you know for a fact that guy's that guy.